As we continue to celebrate Black History Month, today we're learning about a man who is credited as the founder of American gospel music.
Of course, we're talking about Dr. Charles Albert Tindley. And while his songwriting talent can still be heard to this day inside churches all over the world, did you know he was born right here on Delmarva? Calvin Collins is a senior majoring in music at Salisbury University, and he's getting ready to pay tribute to Dr. Tindley during a concert on Friday. Thank you so much for being here this afternoon.
Yes.
All right, so we're going to talk about that concert coming up in just a few moments, but we want to learn a little bit more about Dr. Tindley. He had quite a few accomplishments, didn't he?
He certainly did. I know that there were many people that know of Tindley around this area. He has many people that are relatives that live in a place outside of Berlin called Tindley Town, and there's other persons. When I did my research, I actually found out that the Calvin B. Taylor Museum in Berlin had a lot of information, but other persons and books and everything, as you know how research goes, is a lot. But one of the accomplishments I think that is one of the most remarkable is that even through having an enslaved father and a free mother, that he had to work on the plantation. So he taught himself how to read and write. So through this system of picking up pieces of paper off the side of the road and then would put them away, and then would, under fire at nighttime, would read, look, and try to put them in order of the alphabet. Can you imagine how difficult that would be, and how much persistence that he had to do that? It just is amazing to me to see how far Tindley came from such a small beginning.
Right.
And through that, he learned Greek and Hebrew eventually in Philadelphia. I didn't know if you knew that.
No, I didn't.
But he went to Philadelphia with his wife Daisy, and then through being in Philadelphia, he learned Greek and Hebrew. He started many ministries and had a church of over 12,000 persons.
And he was a deacon, right?
He was a deacon first, and then became an elder in the church, the Methodist church then, now the United Methodist Church. They used to ordain first to deacon, then to elder, but now it is two separate paths.
And he throughout this time, he had a love for music, particularly writing songs.
Yes, and I believe that Stand By Me is one of the most familiar to many persons. Aretha Franklin sang that, Elvis, and Bob Dylan also performed it. So I think we definitely know that even though he started in Berlin, that he came very far in his music and his life.
I feel like I should be writing notes right now.
Yeah.
What sparked your interest in Dr. Tindley's life?
You know, as a senior music major, I had to come up with a project as a capstone project. And the requirement was it could be a project, it could be a paper. And I mean, I think writing papers is fun, but also not really too much.
I was like, what?
Yes, but it's nice that I could do research on something. I'm going into the United Methodist Church, going towards ordained ministry, and this is part of that, learning about the heritage and the things that the Methodist Church has gone through in life and in the time of life. So I think that was part of it. I was looking at many different ideas, and I just came back to this because I'm the director of music at a church in Smyrna, Delaware, where my choir and people from that church love Tindley's music, and they love his legacy and have been to Tindley Temple, and it's just wonderful to see that and that passion that his music has.
So let's talk about the tribute concert that you have Friday night.
Yes, certainly. It's going to be at Wicomico Presbyterian, and I just felt that some of his music, it's just so sacred in nature that it would be nice to have a sacred space to have that. And also we're going to be using piano and organ, and Wicomico Presbyterian's choir with a few other voices will be singing with the concert with The Storm Is Passing Over. So.
And you do not want to miss this. It's coming up, like he said, on Friday at 7 p.m. At Wicomico Presbyterian Church, sponsored by the SU Music Theater and Dance Department. It's free, and the public is invited to attend.
Certainly.
Wow. Okay, so we're going to get a preview on the Mid-South audio stage of what's happening Friday night. What are you going to sing for us?
I will be singing Stand By Me and Heaven's Christmas Tree.
All right, looking
Yes.
forward to that. Thank you so much for sitting on the couch and
Thank
talking
you.
to us
Certainly.
this afternoon. We have plenty more Delmarva Life ahead, so stay right where you are. We'll be right back.